And now, on this St. Stephen's Day afternoon, Donnacha O'Dooling looks back on his visit to the west of Ireland last summer in the company of a saint.
So on this St. Stephen's Day, let's begin back at school in Ballintogher, County Sligo, and thence to a holy hour recorded in a dark and peaceful night in Ballintogher. But first, the voices of Ballintogher.
Donnacha O'Dooling ag fógra seachtanari. Jish the gile kiolenin is the chocolate kila. Kilwer in Sunspear, oh his erna goler. Jish the gile kiolenin is the chocolate kila.
Seamus McCormack, always the same question in Ballintogher. Where are we?
Well, you're here in County Sligo, about 8 miles from Sligo town, in the village of Ballintogher.
And who are the singers there now?
Well, the singers are pupils from Ballintogher Primary School. And we have Angela and Scarlett and Aoife and Edel and Donal and Sean and Amy and another Aoife and Laura.
And a host of angels and saints sitting
and a
down
host
here.
of other angels and saints
Who
watching here.
Who would they be now?
Well, all of those there now. There's John and Kieran, Stephen, Shane, Conan, Niall, Alan, Paul, Sinead and Michelle.
And you taught some of their parents before them?
I did. That certainly gives away my age.
Not a word, they're only tiny babies, these. 4th, 5th and 6th.
4th, 5th and 6th classes, right.
Now, you're famous for lots of reasons here, for the lovely scenery for one thing, but you're near a very famous place in W.B. Yeats's terminology.
We are. We're in the heart of the Yeats country, and I suppose our area here inspired a lot of Yeats's poetry. We would be the nearest school in Ireland to the Lake Isle of Innishfree. It's just about 1.5 miles down the road. And on the other direction, we have Dooney Rock, about which he wrote The Fiddler of Dooney. And as you look out the window here, you can see the mountains here. And the name of that mountain is Slishwood. But when Yeats was writing the poem, The Strolling Child, he started with, where dips the rocky highland of Sleuthwood in the lake, there lies a leafy island where flapping herons wake the drowsy water rats. In fact, that's Sleuthwood. His interpretation was Sleuthwood, we call it Slishwood.
Now we have a young lady here who's going to recite a little bit of a poem for us.
We have. Michelle would be the person in the room here who lives nearest to the Lake Isle of Innishfree. So she's going to do the first verse of the Lake Isle of Innishfree.
I will arise and go now, and go to Innishfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-low glade.
Today I'm recording this on a Tuesday. What date is today, anyone tell me? The 5th of June, the year 2001. But I was meant to be here yesterday. What famous event took place here, apart from the Flacchiol, took place here yesterday?
Well, we had the visit of the relics of St. Thérèse to the church here. And that was a unique event for the area, because I would imagine we'd be one of the few small churches that the relics were brought to. I know they visited all the cathedrals throughout the country and places like that.
And Thérèse has a special association with your church?
Thérèse has a special association with our church. In 1931, the foundation stone of the church here was laid. And when the church was officially opened and dedicated in 1933 by the then bishop of this diocese, Bishop McNamee, St. Thérèse's sister sent a first-class relic. And that's contained in a shrine in our church here.
A very famous church. And Seamus, you weren't in fact meant to be here at all today, you weren't?
No, we weren't meant to be here today because we had planned going on a school outing. Anyone able to tell Donnacha about where we were going on the school outing? Well, Angela.
We were going to Dublin, and we were going to visit the Dáil, and we might be going to the zoo. And
why are you here today then?
Because 4 children from this school, their granddad died Saturday, I think, and it wouldn't be fair to go and leave them.
And that granddad was important to you?
Well, that granddad came to the school here and on a number of occasions, and he helped and showed us how to make these straw hats. Would anybody like to talk about that? Edel?
Where's Edel now?
Edel is here.
Edel, will you come round the table again? You must come round the table here to talk always. The table is very important, right, Edel?
He showed us how to make them, and we had to prepare all the what's it called again? Straw. To make them before he actually came, and he brought all the tools that he used.
Oh, he did it in front of you, did he?
Yeah.
And actually, some of the people here made them themselves as well.
Excellent.
The straw hat tradition goes back in this part of the country where at weddings, the straw boys, the people used to dress up in the straw, and they came along and they wore the hats, and they're also masked, because see, when you put them on your face like this,
you look very well with the straw.
Probably do, Donnacha, but it's very hard to recognise people through them, and sometimes the ones who came into as straw boys, you see, didn't want to be recognised. Now the custom has resurrected itself, because we had a festival here last November, and a group of straw boys came here and entertained and gave us a great piece of entertainment in the evening.
Now, anybody else like to say anything about the place or the school or the history or Thérèse or anything else?
Anybody tell Donnacha about the meaning of Ballintogher? Yes, John.
Balla is the Irish or village or town, and Togher is wooden road. And the Ballintogher means village of the wooden road.
Absolutely, grand. Thank you very much. Now, are we going to have a little piece of music to kind of send us on our way? By the way, the sign on the door says Fáilteach, which makes me feel very much at home. Now, will you gather around me with your tin whistles, and I'll do my best to control you. Father, your church is singular.
Thank you, Donnacha.
Now, we will not meet another like it. Why is that?
Well, it was built in the 1930s, and it was built in the Art Deco style, and which was a style which is associated with the 1920s and the 1930s. It was designed by an architect called Vincent Kelly, who had an architectural practice in Dublin. And as a student, he had studied in Finland, and he got a lot of his ideas about Art Deco and that in Finland. And he was commissioned to build that church by Archbishop McNamee in 1930. Work began, the foundation stone was laid in 1930, and the work was completed in 1933. The church was blessed and dedicated then.
And out of it grew a tradition of hurling in the parish.
That is true. The contractor was a man by the name of Skehan from Thurles, and the men from Thurles, they played hurling when they were in Ballintogher, and some of the young men in Ballintogher, they played hurling with the men who were building the church. And unfortunately, after the men went back to Thurles, I think the hurling finished after that.
It wilted, so to speak.
I think so, yes.
Now, there's a gorgeous statue of the saint in the front of the church.
That is right, Donnacha. There's a beautiful statue of St. Thérèse right over the main entrance of the church, which was donated by the church to the church by Vincent Kelly, the architect.
And is that visible to many people in the parish?
It is. Some of the elderly people who don't get out to Mass or maybe are housebound, the statue is floodlit at night, and they can see the statue in the church from their houses, and it's a great comfort to them, particularly when they're living on their own, that they can see the church there at night.
And then, of course, you have a first-class relic.
We have a first-class relic of St. Thérèse, which was given to our Bishop McNamee in the 1930s by Thérèse's sister Pauline, who in religious life was Mother Agnes, that was her name. And the relic is in the centre of the church there in Ballintogher.
I suppose you never thought when you began considering this how big it was going to grow.
I didn't, Donnacha, because I thought when I invited Father Linus, I asked him would he come, and he said he would be delighted to come. And indeed, I'm very grateful to Father Linus for coming to us. And I thought it would be a nice little occasion for the parish, little thinking that we had 2,000 people yesterday in Ballintogher. So I was quite taken aback when I saw when the Relics came, the number of people who were turning out. But we were well prepared for them yesterday. We got great help from the people in the parish and from all the civil defence and Gardaí and everybody like that.
Was it one of the greater days in your priestly life?
I would say it was one of the happiest days, certainly since my ordination day. I was trying last night, I was reflecting on the whole day, and I came to the conclusion that yesterday I got a glimpse of heaven.
Talking of glimpses, you and I glimpsed one another before, didn't we?
We did indeed, yes. We met when you were doing your walk from Cork up to Leitrim. We were reenacting the famous march of O'Sullivan Beara, Donal Sullivan Beara, up to Leitrim village. And I was a curate in Carrick-on-Shannon, and I met you in Leitrim village. And that was a wonderful occasion as well.
Joe Earley was there.
Joe Earley was there, yes, indeed, and his wife Beth. And it was a great occasion in the month of January.
Your little parish is wonderfully beautiful, isn't it? In terms of scenery.
It is, Donnacha. The location is beautiful. We have the famous Isle of Innishfree in our parish as well. It's in Lochgill. And we have Slishwood. We have some beautiful walks in that. A lovely forest in that as well. And it is a beautiful place. And I have to say, as beautiful as the scenery is, the people are wonderful people as well. They're beautiful people too.
Almost 4:20 in the morning in Ballintogher. We're in the sacristy and it's pouring rain outside. It's dark and gloomy. In here it's warm and there's the smell of incense. Father, tell us what we've just been through there now.
A holy hour and some beautiful singing from the two girls, Donna Malone, Caroline Jackson, and our organist, Regina Deasy, who organised the music.
When did you? I heard her name mentioned. I don't know how many miles away. Now, the actual cathedral itself, what would you say of it?
Well, it has just been newly refurbished. Working on it for the last 2 years, not quite finished yet, but it's almost there. Some bit of work to be done on the outside, but the inside is completed at this stage.
The altar was very spectacular. The three fires. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, our sacristan, Catherine Glacken, was responsible for that, the decoration of the altar. And you pour methylated spirits into a dish and you light it and it gives the flame.
It was as simple as that.
Simple as that.
As mystical as that.
As mystical as that now.
And the fact that the flames began to go and die gradually, was that timed?
It was timed, yeah. A certain amount for a certain length of time.
And for you yourself, what effect did this have on you this morning?
Well, I really enjoyed it, and we have tried that, the idea of the flame, the symbol of the love of God, many times before. Actually, we borrowed it from the Redemptorists when they were here for the novena 3 years ago.
The visit of the relics of Thérèse, what does that mean to you?
means an awful lot in the sense, like, I mean, that has brought huge crowds, people coming to pray of all age groups, from the oldest to the youngest, sick, and even people, you know, disabled and all, trying to come in, and the cooperation that has come from everybody.
I was talking about the dark night or morning outside that river. Is that the Moy?
That's the River Moy.
A good salmon river?
Yes, there's salmon in it, all right.
And this is also a football country?
That says, yeah. We have the Ballintogher here in this parish, and then out the road we have the All-Ireland champions Crossmalina. In fact, I played for them one time when they weren't able to win a match, when Dr. Tom Moffat was playing for them, and they'd win about 2 or 3 matches a year. Now they're All-Ireland champions. Of course, we have retired, that's why.
You're not going to come back, I take it?
No.
No. No, well, I turned to, there's 2 girls down here who were singing. Who was that? I talked to you first. What's your name?
I'm Caroline Jackson.
And?
Anna Malone.
Do you often sing in the cathedral here?
Yeah, we sing regular in the cathedral and also in the other church, St. Patrick's Church as well.
And your voices, they're obviously trained. They don't happen accidentally.
Yeah. We both went to singing lessons in town with Lavinia Slater for a number of years, and now I'm in college and I'm studying music in college as well, so I received training there.
And what stage are you at?
I'm only my first year of college. I'm studying religion and music in the Mater Dei.
Long way to go.
Yeah.
And what about yourself?
Well, I'm studying music at school, and I also go to Lavinia and Gilmartin, and so we do grades each year, and gradually we're building up.
And what grade are you at?
I'm at grade 4 now, so
You're well on.
a bit to go yet.
And the daylight is creeping quietly in the window now, just greyness. What's it like singing at this hour of the night or day?
It's nice, yes, I do like it. Yeah, it's different. I'm singing early in the morning.
And it's very nice meeting both of you this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Tell me, is there a cup of tea going anywhere now, Father? There's tea in Father's house. Good. We shall go to our Father's house. Archbishop Michael Neary, I suppose this is a great day for Tuam. Has been a good night too, obviously.
It has been a wonderful day since 2 o'clock yesterday. right through the night and again this morning. The crowds filing past in veneration, the dignity and the devotion that they displayed was remarkable. I think it does cause us to pause and ponder on the attraction that a saint like Thérèse has for both young and old.
I think what I've noticed, as you've just said, the quietness of the whole event is marvellous.
It was. The people who came were queuing for maybe an hour and a half, some of them, but they were all doing so in a spirit of festivity, if you like, but also a spirit of deep faith. And we were very fortunate with the weather, although it was cold, but the rain stayed off. We were most fortunate with the stewards that we had. The stewards themselves ensured that it would be very dignified and devotional, and the stewards have been remarking about the way in which the people who have come are so focused on their faith. They're coming with different concerns and worries. They're bringing them to Thérèse, and they feel that here they have somebody with whom they can identify, because Thérèse had the suffering as well as the joy.
There's a lovely familiarity about her. As a lady said to me this morning, if you pray to Thérèse for something you want to watch it, she'll give it to you, but you may have a sideline problems as well. Did you ever hear that kind of folklore?
I did, and I'm sure that you're alluding possibly to the fact that Limerick beat Cork. Maybe you want to make a point here in Tuam that Galway did not overcome Roscommon, but I would like to remind people that Galway are not out by any means.
I didn't know I was into those subtleties. When you were a youngster, did your family at home, were there pictures of Thérèse? Did you know of her?
Oh, I did. I would have been praying to Thérèse as a youngster, and I suppose I was under the impression that it was younger people who prayed to Thérèse. I now recognise as I get older that Thérèse is a saint for all ages and for all seasons.
Well, I'm sitting now inside in the tea room, in the canteen in Tuam, and it's very wild outside, very sunny. It's about 10 to 10 in the morning, and they're all going to Mass. Now, sister, we were talking there about devotion to Saint Thérèse. Since you were a child, you were hearing about her.
Yes, since I was very young. My father taught me a prayer. He had great devotion to her and spread devotion to her by spreading the prayer that he knew.
He would have lived through her canonization, of course.
He would have. Oh, yes, he did. He did. And he had a sister teacher who he gave the prayer to, leading procession. So he felt that he was spreading devotion to her through the schools, even though he wasn't teaching himself, like, you know.
And have you pursued with this prayer since then?
Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes.
Now, how does it go?
I may not be able to say it all now, but I will say some of it. O Saint Thérèse of the infant Jesus, who by your brief mortal career made of the divine child the school and paradise of your soul, you have asked for naught but love and sorrow, and every day of your life offered to God the most beautiful flowers of virtue. Now at your nearest throne, pray for us. Teach us to follow you on the path of your complete trust in God's merciful love, and grant that we may join you and sing God's praises with you forever. Amen.
I've met some folks who say that I'm a dreamer, and I've no doubt there's truth in what they say. But sure, a body's bound to be a dreamer when all the things he loves are far away, and precious things are dreams unto an exile. They take him o'er the land across the sea, especially when it happens he's an exile dreamy valleys and find a peace no other land could know. I hear the birds make music fit for angels and watch the rivers laughing as they flow. But dreams don't last, though dreams are not forgotten. And soon I'm back to stern reality. But though they pave the footways here with gold dust, I still would choose the Isle of Innishfree.
Sinead Stone and the Isle of Innishfree ending travels with Thérèse. Amongst those we heard in the programme were the Very Reverend Michael Flynn, administrator of St Muiredach's Cathedral, Ballintogher, and Reverend Father Thomas Flynn, Ballintogher, County Sligo. The programme was presented and produced by Donnacha O'Dooling.
The Central